And it seems to me that we have a lot of how do I put it? Um, a lot of people that don't understand science.
There's that. That's a problem
Now,
too, actually.
now, in particular, there seems to be a growing community online, especially on YouTube, for people who are part of or adjacent to the Flat Earth Society.
Right. Simon Dan, my friend. I wish.
Now,
He's a good dude, though.
now there is a gentleman, and I use that term loosely because I don't know the guy, called the Daniel, who
The
is
Daniel?
the Daniel,
Okay.
and he is we'll call him a flat Earth enthusiast.
Hey, buddy.
He has the right intentions for what he's trying to put forth,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think his brain works that way. So he starts off talking about, for instance, his latest video was proof that proof that Christmas proves the Earth is flat.
What?
Let me tell you, if you saw this guy's video, you would be even more lost than you are now, and I only told you 1 second of it.
Look, my cat freaked out. It knows better than that. Are you kidding me?
Not only does Christmas prove the Earth is flat, but it's also magical and has magical properties and has something to do with the Christmas tree is connected to your third eye, and it's also
Are you Katra?
Antarctica. It was just like all over the place. But he did say that he believed that the winter solstice, which he claims is Christmas, but it's not. It's actually this year. It was actually December 22nd, I believe. But he says the winter solstice is definitely Christmas. Christmas in his scientific expertise is the last day of the year, and that the year begins the next day. Now he says he follows this special calendar, and I looked up this calendar, and according to this calendar, even with them, the last day of the year is December 29th. So how he gets December 26th as the last day of the year because of seasons?
Maybe he's confused and doesn't understand what the solstice is or something.
Well, like I said, he claims
Anyway.
he claims that because it's the shortest day of the year, even though we are closest to the sun at that point, that we cannot be closest to the sun and we have to be farthest from the sun in order for it to be short because it's cold. Yeah.
Wacko.
So I watched several videos of the Daniel and other people interviewing him, and I've come to the conclusion that he's brain dead.
Sure.
But yet,
a couple cells firing, that's about it?
But yet, he has a following.
Yeah.
And that's the part that scares me.
People think they understand science, but the problem is when you go into science with a very limited understanding, you can get confused or lost or just have a total misunderstanding of what you're observing.
Well, I've noticed that a lot of these flat earthers, their explanation is because it doesn't make sense to me, it must not be true.
Right. Yeah, I've heard that argument before. How can that make sense? How can this do that? It's like,
So my thing is, they're not. Apparently, these platforms are not supposed to support misinformation, and yet there's plenty of flat earthers on YouTube. I mean, they all have the disclaimer underneath about the flat Earth, and I guess a Wikipedia citing saying that the Earth is not flat. This is just blah blah blah. But that doesn't stop them from spewing their garbage.
Yeah, we do need to have, if we're going to have this huge social internet, it needs to be. I don't want to use the word regulated, but no, it needs it needs to be just in the way of truth and facts. I mean, things that we know for sure. You know, we know the Earth is round. Forget it. It is. This is the way it is. There is no flat Earth. We can check that off the list. So yeah, the more people put out flat Earth stuff, it should get flagged as being fake content. Now, I think on the other hand, if you want to go in for strictly entertainment or have an entertainment value, you must have a disclaimer that this is not true or based in fact or whatever. This is purely entertainment purposes. And then you can go forward with this bullshit that you have as content. But you must do that for not factual things.
You could go that way, or you could have YouTube flag anything that they know is misinformation, and basically put underneath, instead of where the Wikipedia thing is that tells you what real information is, put in there that this video is to be viewed as entertainment for entertainment purposes only. It contains no factual information.
Anything like that would be fine. Anything like that to either the editor or the creator does it themselves because they have to fall into a criteria. But yeah, I mean, it goes as far as even the people that, I didn't really want to bring this, but it's an easy one. The politicians, for example, when they're running for campaigns, they should be held to a level of honesty. They should not be able to just spew out 100% falsehoods. They are politicians. They're running for an office based on the things that they tell the public. So they need to be held. And then that falls into news organizations too. When they flat out lie to the public, there needs to be a consequence there. There has to be something to protect the citizens from being bombarded with. Some people just don't understand the difference between what they're seeing is real or not. They're still catching up to technology. People our age and older. I'm lucky. I was in a technological field. I was able to kind of keep up with a lot of stuff. But there are some people that, they just didn't do well in science in school for the base K-12 education. And, it wasn't enough to hold them back or fail. So that, now they're out in the real world trying to discuss real world things. But I was actually surprised that my science teacher was pretty accurate when he said, you're going to need a lot of this stuff. You'd be surprised how much this will come in handy for you. Yeah, he was right.
Right. Well, see, that's the thing. I mean, how is it that these people don't have like the basics, like 6th grade science education?
Well, not only that, but I agree with you there. But what I don't understand is why these people all of a sudden think or become experts when they know nothing and never knew nothing to begin with. Like in the state of New York right now, there's a dude probably going to be indicted because he ran on a 100% lie. He even said he was gay and he's straight.
Oh, yeah. Wait.
So they're looking at seeing if they can indict this guy for lying to the public.
Wait, is that the guy that lied about his college?
Santos, I think.
Yeah, he's a new guy. He lied about his college and he lied about his
job. About everything. He lied about his ethnicity. Because he's whatever he said he was, he's not. Mm-hmm. He lied about being gay. He's not. The universities, the various places he worked at, the businesses he's owned.
Really?
Yeah, the money that he has, the circles he's in. It's all bullshit. It's every bit of it. Every bit of it is bullshit. This guy is a 100% fake.
So they were trying to throw him out of office?
No, I don't think they want to throw him out of office. I don't think that's the goal. I think the goal is to, if he's violated the law, then he needs to be prosecuted. I think the rest will fall by the way. You know, you might wind up with a special election in New York. And I bet you local people are probably really upset about that. He's a GOP guy. That would piss me off.
Hey, I heard about this. I think I heard about this. This is the guy who claimed he went to certain colleges, and the colleges are like, we never heard of him.
Yes, and the businesses and things like this, like
except for one place. One place said, we don't want to comment, but the rest of them said,
I don't remember that, but yeah,
I think I remember this guy.
You know, there needs to be consequences for that because I'm voting for you based on what I am accepting you at your fucking word, man.
But why do flat earthers lack the general education? I mean, I've even seen
a couple.
I've even seen flat earthers debunk themselves.
I know, and still not get it.
In their explanation, like this guy was talking about the Daniel, he actually was comparing flat Earth to globe, and the globe says that the reason we have the different seasons is because of the tilt of the axis as we're rotating keeps the northern hemisphere away from the sun during the winter months.
Well, it doesn't help that our maps are not accurate.
And he said, well, you know, the tilt has nothing to do with it. And then he said, but let's say the tilt, he says, but if the tilt did have something to do with it, that still doesn't make sense. Well, how can you have a tilt if you have a flat Earth?
Yeah, I know. There's no fucking.
So you
tilt,
just
man.
admitted that the Earth is round and tilted.
Well, spherical, because it's a flat, round plate. So yeah, spherical is what you mean to say, but I'll let you slide on that one. Don't go all quiet on me. Let's continue, sir.
It's not a giant ball. That's okay, because I also saw a woman who was talking to her husband. She didn't understand how, if we're on a ball and we're circling the sun, how could there be other planets beyond us? That she says she doesn't understand it, so it's all a lie. There's no other planets because other than Mars, because we
holes in the curtain. What?
He's trying to explain to her that it takes 360 days to get from here to Mars. All the planets past that are even longer. Yeah, the Mars, it does take approximately a large amount of time to get there.
Oh, sure it does, but that we've reduced that time from like 4 years down to 2, down to like 18 months now. But it has to do with when it reaches the closest point.
Right,
so we have to catch it there.
Right, so
we meet it. We fly out and the planet catches us.
He's trying to explain to her that, you know, we've made it to Mars, but there's planets way beyond Mars, and not just in this solar system.
Do you know what would really blow their minds? If they understood the real orbit of planets and the solar system. Because we're more like a corkscrew. We're not on a flat plane stationary. We're moving. This whole universe is moving. Our galaxy is moving fast. We're hauling ass, man. We're doing about 70,000 kilometers a second or a minute.
They can't agree that the Earth is round. You think they're going to take
I know, right?
Space? Because there's no wind.
That blew me away when I realized it.
There's days where there's no wind, so how could we be moving?
Yeah, I've heard that before too. How come our planet is rotating as fast as it is and we don't know it?
Yeah, we don't feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, oh, by the way, the Dan also said, not only is Christmas magical, but he was told that on Easter you can balance an egg on its end, but only on Easter Day.
You're making my head hurt.
Oh, you have no idea how her
No, I
brain
try not
was.
to watch a whole lot of that stuff because I get into it and I hear these particular people speak, and it's like, how did you wake up and not kill yourself getting out of bed? I don't
Yeah,
understand.
it's like, who ties your shoes for you?
The Velcro. That's what Velcro's for. Thank God.
I actually left a comment and just mentioned that, how did Yukon Cornelius come up with such an insane theory
Method
that,
of detecting silver and gold. Yeah.
that, that Christmas is magic, and it has to do with your something, your pineal gland and your third eye and the Christmas tree in Antarctica. And I was like, and the thing is, he looks like Yukon Cornelius. So that's why I said,
I hate to say it, but it almost sounds as if, and I know I'm probably going to offend a lot of people, but it just seems like the education is more located in our party, and the lower education is in the other side.
You think flat
And
earthers are Republicans?
I don't have a statistic to show that, but you
you
know
would
what?
venture a guess?
Yeah. Well, there is data on COVID, and yeah, when the vaccine became popular and out, that's when the Republican numbers started to go down in the bad way. We lost a lot more Republicans. In fact, we lost so many Republicans, it might have been enough to change this past election. That's how many we lost. And that, my friends, I hate to say, is very sad. That does not make me happy in any way.
I think that
That's a sad thing.
flat earthers,
Misinformation, liars.
I think that flat earthers, I don't think that it's party specific. I think it's education specific.
Right, but
I think
think of the country, though. I mean, most of the crappier education parts are in the South. Even where I live, it's not
right.
good.
Right. No, you're right. They are in the South,
Mhm.
and my guess is, that a lot of American flat earthers are from the South. That's my guess. But there's flat earthers in Australia. Well, I've never
Everywhere,
heard of
yeah.
Australia,
There's
but
European for sure. I've
Yeah.
heard some, especially on Dance Channel.
yeah,
You know,
and it's like
Yeah,
they're from all over. How does education fail just those certain people?
yeah. It totally fails. Breaks
And
down.
and then the question is, why isn't everyone in that area a flat earther if they're all undereducated?
Well, it may not necessarily be undereducation, but just the way that they've retained or understood the information that they've learned. You know, I suppose that's got to be a possibility as well. They just did not absorb the information in an accurate way than the ones that they perhaps went to school with, let's say. You know, I don't know how many that happens to, but it's got to happen to some where they act like they understand everything and they really don't because they're afraid to ask or embarrassed to ask or whatever the case may be. You know,
I wonder if flat earthers are also, if a good percentage of flat earthers are also Scientologists.
well, that's interesting. What makes you say that?
It just seems like their type of rhetoric, the whole, the earth is flat.
Dianetics.
The earth is flat. You guys don't understand it. There's aliens out there. You guys don't
Scientology
understand
says it's flat, the earth?
No. They
right.
they believe that there's that we're not alone.
Yeah, Thetans and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
And I can see that coming from a flat earther going, you don't understand the earth is flat. How do you understand that there's other beings out there?
I don't know what that has to do with one to the other.
Well, what the hell does the earth being flat have to do with Christmas?
Yeah, I know that is true. There's absolutely none.
One guy tried to prove the earth was flat by swinging a barn gate.
I saw that. Yeah.
A gate. Oh, look, the gate doesn't. It's so we can't be tilted because it doesn't shut by itself.
Yeah, we got a long road ahead of us, man. Well, a lot of this has been done on purpose. That I remember hearing these terms when I was still like in my 20s, and that's a dumbing down of America. It's been going on for a long time. Where we're just. I mean, think about it. Look at core math. What the fuck is that all about? That's the most stupidest, ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
I saw
It
two
doesn't
videos.
teach math.
I saw two videos over the past 2 days. One, and they were both asking the younger generation these questions. One, it had you remember the old clocks, when we were in school and they used to have the little picture of the clock with the red hands and they'd put
Sure.
it to a certain, went to people and said, can you tell me what time this is? And nobody could. They
Because it
couldn't
wasn't digital.
read an analog clock.
Yeah.
And then he went around to high school and college students asking, when was Pearl Harbor? He asked three or four questions. I think it was, when was Pearl Harbor? Where is Pearl Harbor? And who attacked Pearl Harbor? Only one person got it right.
Wow.
We got answers ranging from
Celebrate it. We honor it every year.
we got answers ranging from the 1920s and Florida as being where Pearl Harbor is,
Yeah, warm water mostly. No, not really. Not the Pacific.
to the 1950s and 60s. And when he asked this girl, where is Pearl Harbor? She's like, yeah, that's it. I'm leaving. I'm done. And she walked away.
December 7th.
December 7th, 1941.
41 or 2. 41. Yes, you're right. I'm sorry. My apologies. I was thinking 42.
And we were attacked by the Japanese.
Yeah. We have awoken a sleeping giant. That's what the Admiral does.
It's a day that will live in infamy, and yet the younger generation who have graduated high school don't know when Pearl Harbor is, who attacked us, or where it is.
Japan delivered their declaration late. Yep, they gave their declaration after they already attacked Pearl Harbor. Japan.
But how do high school graduates not know this information?
At minimum,
right?
Why don't they know about the camps too, that they put the internment camps that they put the Japanese in?
In 1942, right?
Probably right after. No, it was right after.
Right. Well,
so December. Sure. Yeah. Fine.
Right.
By January 1942. Then yes, 1942 for sure. Yeah, they did it right away throughout the country.
How do they not know who attacked us? What? 1919?
Yeah, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. They don't know about that either. They're related.
And this is the problem with our education system thing.
And I know people that have never heard of Auschwitz.
They don't know how to write cursive. They don't know how to read an analog clock. They don't know anything about our world, our country's history. Well. Yeah, but you know how.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
If you turned around to one of them and said, could you write cursive? They'd say, what is that?
Yeah.
Or as we used to call it, can you write in script?
Script, right?
They have no idea. Is that some sort of calligraphy? No, it's just freaking signing your name.
I had to print for my job, though. We weren't allowed to write scripts. It's tough to read somebody else's handwriting, so it had to be uniformed. Makes sense. It's for records.
I can understand that, but I used to do the same thing with my reports when I was doing personal protection. All my reports had to be printed, but then I'd sign it and then write my name underneath in print.
But otherwise, writing's gone by the way thanks to computers. A lot of it has.
Apparently, so has a lot of other things as well.
Yeah, cooking is gone by the way. I really don't know. I know very few people that know how to cook. People younger than me, they go out to eat. They do other things. They do not. They don't have time. They get ready to eat meals.
I taught my kid. Well, my mother taught me.
Yeah,
I taught my kids some, and my mother taught them the rest. My kids know how to cook.
Yeah, I wish my mom passed when I was quite young. I would have learned more, but
You know, but
Yeah, she told me a lot.
it's the same. It's it's based. God, I thought this was over with. Okay, hold on. Sorry about that.
Nope, I ignore mine.
Yeah, well, you know, females do that to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't understand where I live, and it's not that the students are becoming dumber. You bear with me. I don't think the students are becoming dumber. I think that the teachers are becoming dumber.
Or overwhelmed or being limited. A lot of teachers in areas I couldn't believe how limited teachers are on what they can teach. Like now teachers are being forced to show, if you're going to say something negative about something like the Holocaust, for example, you need to show something that's positive about it. How the fuck do you do that? What
It's
the
easy.
fuck is positive that came out of the fucking Holocaust?
I can
Nothing.
say something. I can say something positive about the Holocaust. I'm positive that 6 million Jews died.
Yeah, but that's not positive.
I'm positive.
No, that's just, but still, even to say I understand your humor, but for all intents and purposes for this, teachers were appalled and were in meetings and things. Some resigned over it. That is what they're supposed to fucking do now.
The positive point to the Holocaust is, and you have to look at it a little twisted, but it's true. The positive part of the Holocaust is that only 6 million Jews died. It could have been much worse.
Yeah, but there's more than just Jews that died.
I understand that.
You know, I mean,
I understand that, but it could have been much worse. That's your positive.
Alrighty.
That's the only positive you can draw from that.
No, I'm sorry, but I don't even draw no positive out of that. There's nothing positive. The first one was enough. The first one was too much. And the fact that they went out of their way to be creative on how to kill people in mass numbers. If they had their way, they would have done them all. They would have done everyone that wasn't them. You know, if you weren't blonde, blue-eyed, you were not safe. That was Hitler's vision and the Reich.
I do have another positive that came out of it.
I'm going to hit you before we're done here.
No, think about this. Think about this.
But teach that to a student, dude. Show me how you teach that to a student.
When we stepped in and put an end to it, many Germans died. And with that, we stopped them from reproducing. And that's a positive effect. If you want to,
I'd love to see comments on this.
If you're asking teachers to reach, you got that's the farthest you can reach. Yeah. You can't. I mean,
but I don't know, man. I think that's a struggle to reach even that high. I think it's I
mean, what are you going to say? They had a strong sense of community.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you know.
Nah. There's nothing. The only good that comes out of that is maybe that we teach others so it doesn't happen again. I suppose, but still, there's no. But it should be taught. All of it should be taught. All of our history, all the way back as far as we can remember. But good, bad, and indifferent.
But what brings that to my attention is that you said they're being told if they say something negative, they have to say something positive about the Holocaust. Right. But that also brings me back to slavery. Mm-hmm. You can mention slavery, but you can't make people feel bad about it.
Why not?
Because giving people white guilt is not good for their psyche.
I see where you were going. That was a rhetorical question. Yeah.
And to me, it's like, well, what is good about it? How do you sugarcoat slavery?
I suppose the only if we're trying to really, really stretch for good things that came out of slavery, the only good thing I can see that ever come out of it is that we know enough to never do it again. So that when we go out into the cosmos and happen to come across another intelligent species, we've learned that lesson. Maybe we will think better of ourselves and not do it again.
We, as in the United States, have.
No, I mean, a
All,
species we need to
all
learn.
over the globe, there is still slavery.
Yeah. Yep, there is. And we got to end it. I mean, I don't really how. It's hard to fuck with someone else's backyard, but that's when sanctions get involved. Don't buy the shit that they build.
I
You
agree.
know, I might get the name wrong, but the Uyghurs. They're the ones that build like Kubota tractors and stuff like that in China. Like the blue ones were, I think, made by them, and the orange ones were made the right way, properly. But it's made by slave labor. They're oppressing these people. It's unbelievable how the Chinese are they're destroying these people. You know, just because they're slightly different or whatever, their eyes are different. I don't know what the fucking reason is, really. I don't know. But it's bullshit. Nobody should be oppressed in this day and age. It's something that should be wiped out of existence. We need to be above that in the 21st century. It just doesn't make sense. We're not animals anymore. You know, I don't know.
No, you're right. You're right, and it's the Uyghurs. Yeah, I know who you're talking about that group in China, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Stop buying their shit. No one buys it. If no one buys it, they're not going to produce it. Even if they change what they sell, don't buy it. Stop buying shit from China if you have a problem with China. But the point is everything's made fucking China because we let that happen. Because capitalism took off so bad here. And I know we're totally getting way off our subject, but still, you know, these things are snowballs that just fit all together. You know,
This is
shitty
true.
ones too.
That's absolutely true.
And I think that is, you know what? Let me just spin this real quick. I think I can. It's when we talk about, you know, people not having an understanding about science and things like that.
Right.
It does stem from this conversation too. When you constantly tell people that, you know, all the shit's coming from China, and they're all bitching about China because that's been in our news. You know, China this, China that. It's like, then don't we forced ourselves to go out of our country?
Yeah, but you know,
it's so hard to go ahead.
There's all that talk about China. China, we shouldn't be taking things from China, blah, blah, blah. But yet, didn't Ivanka Trump secure like 100 patents or something in China during his presidency?
Which was, they're finding out, is illegal. Yeah. And Jared took $1 billion, I think, too. Something like that from the Saudis. Yeah.
You know, but you know, the most
Hunter
important,
Biden's dick pics on his laptop. We got to have those. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the most important and crucial part of what's going on.
But I do think those things that kind of play into, you know, into this conversation. I know they kind of sound far apart.
Well, no,
it involves a similar group of people.
What I see is this wouldn't be happening. This whole thing with the Hunter Biden's laptop and the patents over in China and all this shit that's going on now wouldn't be happening if the level of education in this country hadn't fallen.
Was right, and it's higher than it is now. I agree.
You know,
because people have a better understanding of economics.
You know, back in the 80s, we didn't have these problems.
And civics, yeah.
People understood civics.
It was taught in school.
Yeah, I mean, we even had the what's it, Model Congress.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
my son didn't have that. He told me.
They don't even do
like, we had debate classes and stuff like that.
Yeah, they don't even do moot court, you know, like moot court or anything
mock
like
courts,
that anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I'm surprised.
And that's a shame.
I agree, but it's not just politics and stuff like that. Do you remember when we were in 7th and 8th grade, and we used to go out to the parking lot and we had to use, like, I believe it was masking tape or chalk to draw whales on the parking lot at Goff.
Oh, wow.
They don't do that anymore. You have no idea.
Yeah, I do remember that.
If you ask somebody what's the difference between a blue whale and a sperm whale, they'll be like, "Oh, the name."
Yeah, right.
You know, because we're not teaching our kids. I think the problem is you're trying to streamline it and give them the information they think they're going to need when they grow up. But they don't.
or
it's
they're
not-
tailoring it to make sure that they follow a certain way for an agenda that they want.
If they're tailoring it that way, they're doing it because if they eliminate things that are difficult, the students have a better chance of passing the tests. And if they pass the test, the school gets money.
Right. It's for money. It's not for the education. I see. Yeah. It's for this.
Yeah. And so
And it
all
makes
the
them
things,
look better when they have higher numbers too.
all the things that we learned while we were going through school are too difficult for the new generation. So they cut them out so that they pass the tests easier.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a good point.
And that makes our civilization coming through dumber than the generation before.
Right. Like DeVos, for example, she was our education secretary. She was dumber, tree stump. Never been inside of a private school before. You know, never went to college or anything like that. She didn't know shit.
Oh, really? She didn't get
I
secondary
don't think she went to
education?
college. I don't think. No.
Oh, she
I
was
think
just
she
rich.
has a. I think she has one of those certificates of here. You're so rich. We'll just give you an honorary. Yeah.
Honorary.
Yeah, you've done so much for the blah, 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 whatever they say. You know, you're a light on the community or something like that when you're sucking the tit dry.
And if you noticed, now that we're 2 generations or 3 generations past the 80s, past us, now all of a sudden all these flat earthers are coming out.
Yeah, I suppose that seems to be a trend. It does seem like that culture's growing. I know a few people that are new, you know, coming out of the closet type flat earthers. Like there's no evidence to support either way. I'm like, what? Okay.
But it's not just that. I mean, if you look at this generation compared to our generation, if someone like Q were to come along during our generation, it would be a laughing stock, and
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
would be that.
They would have been laughed out. Yep, exactly. They would have
Now,
been treated
it's
like children or less.
Now you could say that, wives of politicians are kidnapping babies and killing them to drink their blood to improve their
Yeah, I heard that.
their life
Youth or
source
something. Yeah,
to
whatever.
keep
Yeah.
and they're going, oh yeah, that sounds plausible. Yeah.
You
Like,
don't think
what?
that people would notice the numbers of fucking dead kids to do maybe something like that?
Their thing is, 40,000 kids disappear every year. Yeah, okay. Well, where are they? Well, they're not here. That's, there's child slavery, there's child, trafficking.
All kinds of stuff. Yeah,
Just because,
they're vulnerable.
yeah. It just makes me, it burns me to think that my kids are going to be the smartest on the planet soon.
Yeah. And you better make sure that they're smart. They're going to need that intelligence to survive in the world that's coming. We got a new world coming, one that nobody has seen yet. And I think that this weather system we have should also say that, but we're getting off the subject again.
Yeah, which reminds me, since we've gotten off it so much, I think it's time to wrap it up, sir.
Yeah, probably a good idea. I want to hear some comments. I want to read some comments.
Yeah, you know that people are going to definitely be commenting. And before we go, I just have one thing to say.
Uh-oh.
Coming up within the next few days, there's going to be a major announcement on this channel, and it will benefit everyone.
You won the lottery.
No.
We'll find out.
No. But if you stay tuned and keep watching, I think you'll all be pleasantly surprised.
Alrighty.
And with that, I say wrap up another wonderful episode, and we will see you in the funny papers.
Be good, man.
Peace.